What's up, guys? Chemist here from Meanwhile the Man Cave, and we take a look at all things pop culture, games, toys, or anything we think is cool. And today, we are taking a look at the NECA Dungeons & Dragons Grimsword Ultimate Action Figure. Grimsword was part of the 1980s LJN Dungeons & Dragons action figure series. It was part of the Wave 2 that was released in 1984. This wave of action figures featured a little gimmick called Battlematic Action, which was a switch on the back of the figure that would either swing the character's arm up and down, or in Grimsword's case, his waist back and forth. Ironically, LJN didn't feature any of the characters from the popular Saturday morning Dungeons & Dragons cartoon show. LJN may have had the rights to produce Dungeons & Dragons figures, but they didn't have the rights to use any of the characters in the Marvel-produced cartoon show. So, they came up with their very own characters that had basic bios that players could use in their own advanced Dungeons & Dragons game. And that is how Grimsword came to be. Unlike Warduke and Strongheart, Grimsword doesn't really have much of a backstory outside of the description on the box, which states that Grimsword is an evil, untrustworthy knight that will turn on his friends or foe as long as it gains him power. Okay, starting right off, looking at the box. Cool artwork on the front. Title of the character on the side. Almost in the bookbinding style. And a preview of the character on the back, along with a brief history. And a little shot of Warduke down there. Another picture of the action figure on the side. And as it is with most of these NECA action figures, it's a gatefold cover. The action figure posed on the side. And there's a brief preview of what we're going to get. So, let's break Grimsword out of this jail and take a look. Alright, on the inside of the box, looks like a crypt entrance or something. Kind of a cool backdrop. Okay, quick overview of what you're going to get in the package here. 6 extra hands. You got his sword, a snake mace, and Grimsword himself. So, let's get him out of the package here and get a closer look. Starting off, you got a couple pointing hands, left and right. And a closed fist, left hand. And an open gripping hand, well, a gripping hand, I should say, left hand. And the same thing with the right hand. You got your closed fist and a gripping hand. Next, you've got your sword. Pretty sweet looking. And the snake mace. There's the handle of it here. Business end here, and it is on a metal chain. Very cool. And I didn't notice this on the bottom of the package, but here it is. In the next layer, you had his shield, snakehead shield. Pretty cool. Kind of looks like it's made of stone. Flexible straps in the back here. Alright, here he is, Grimsword himself. First glance, looks pretty cool. I like the weathering on the armor. The snake motif is cool. All different armor pieces. the snake head on the one side of the knee guards there. So check out the back of the armor. Like the snake rattle right here. So let's start off with his articulation here. Got the left and right motion, obviously, for his head. Also tilts a decent amount, at least on one side. Doesn't tilt as far on the other side because I think the armor's a little bit higher on that side. So it kind of restricts that motion. A little bit of tilting back. Again, that's not going to tilt back a ton because of the way the helmet is made. And it will tilt forward though. Quite a distance. Okay, arms, lateral movement, forward a bit and a little bit back. Why such little movement? Well, this armor piece, so the arm hits that, so that restricts his range of motion. So keep that in mind. You do have the joint between the shoulder and the bicep, so you can twist that. You're gonna have a single elbow joint, but the range of motion is restricted because of this armor piece. Now this is flexible. It's not a hard plastic, but it's still going to restrict the range of motion there. Now you're going to have a joint for bending it's basically a hinge at the wrist. You can also twist the wrist as well. No abdomen joint because of the snake armor, but you do have a waist joint. Moving on to the legs, lateral movement, of course. Now, you're gonna have a forward kick here, back as well, and this is flexible armor. You would think it would stop it, but it is flexible, so it doesn't prevent his leg from doing a back kick. Single knee joint, and lastly we have his foot, which we can twist, but there is not a ton of forward and back for the ankle. It will go, but it kind of springs back because of the armor. So let's see how he works out with all the posing. Even though he's got restricted movement, we'll see how it all works out, and I'm going to let you know what I think. Here he is, Grimsword himself in all his glory. Got him into some poses here. Gotta say, I really like the looks of this figure. The over-the-top snake motif and how they translated it into a modern action figure was done really well. The snake rattle sword sheath is really cool. And the accessories he comes with, you know, the shield and the sword and obviously the snake mace that you're gonna see here in a couple minutes is amazing. My issues with this figure are his articulation. He was really difficult to get into some satisfying poses. I do recommend using a figure stand with him as well. He just tends to stand better with one. But overall, very happy with this figure. I just wish they'd changed the articulation on his legs a bit to give him some more variety of stances. A lot of the restrictions of the feet and legs made it difficult to pose him. But overall, gotta say, if you're a fan of Dungeons and Dragons or fantasy figures, definitely worth picking up. And I want to thank you guys all for tuning in. Please come back every Tuesday at 9 a.m. for a brand new episode of Meanwhile the Man Cave. I'll talk to you guys later.